Welcome in, folks. How's everyone doing? This is JE Live, and it is 4 nights in a row. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we'll be talking about whatever you guys want. It's pretty much a Q&A. Just figured I would put Rams, NBA draft, and more as a good title, I guess, to get some people to click on it, because, that whole thing. So, that is what we're doing. Just another JE Live. I do have my thoughts on the NBA draft, which is going on right now. I don't think it is. I've seen some stuff. I'm like, and the trade the Knicks made, I thought was unbelievably stupid. I understand why. I understand the premise. I know how salary cap dumps work. I get it. But Jalen Duren, as you guys know, if you've been on JE Live pretty recently, I've been a big fan of his out of Memphis. The 19-year-old, 6'11", 240-pound center. I just think he's potentially a top 5 player in this draft. I'll say he is a top 5 player in this draft. I think he's incredibly athletic. He's got great potential, and I felt like he was actually like a need, right? Well, the Knicks go and acquire him to move Kemba Walker to the Pistons, not get any picks for it because it's a salary cap dump, and now they're talking about going after Jalen Brunson. I don't get it. I don't get it. I know how it works. I know why teams do. I just don't know if Jalen Brunson would be worth it to me. I also don't think he's going to be that obtainable. I'm not convinced the Mavericks want to get rid of him, or want to let him go. What's up, Hilltop? Paolo Banchero. Yeah, Paolo Banchero went number 1 overall. I think Jabari Smith's the best player in this draft. I can't believe he went 3rd overall, but I think so as well. New glasses. Yes, you're the first person to notice. New glasses. Got them Peter Parker vibes. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been waiting for these. I had my old glasses for a minute. I've had that style, so I want to get a new style, and well, here we are with these new spectacles, as some people call them. I have another backup pair that I probably will never really wear, but yeah. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Glad I got this is my debut. I just started wearing these, so I'm still getting used to them. They're they're different. Like, to be able to look down and still see the glasses here, because normally I had kind of the thinner ones that would have, like, they'd be cut off like here. So I am getting used to them for sure. Rams versus Bills. Jake, will you be there? I'm hoping to be. What do you think about my guy, Julio Rodriguez? Highest batting percentage in the MLB for rookies and predicted to be AL Rookie of the Year. I honestly have not followed that closely. I have followed baseball, but I have not followed that closely, like as far as Rookie of the Year, back when I used to be really into it. But that's awesome. Seems like, you really like him, so, wish you the best of luck there on the Rookie of the Year. Never apologize for the drip. Yeah. Like I said, I'm still getting used to them. I still have to adjust them. They still feel kind of weird. Ow, I just hit my elbow. So, Are you confident Cam Akers can stay healthy this year, or do you think we need a second option? Thoughts on AJ Rose? Yeah, so I was asked the other day if AJ Rose could win the job, and I gotta say, I don't really... It's not a knock on him, but I didn't realize he had such a big cult following. There's so many people out there that keep DMing me like, yo, AJ Rose is going to like win the starting job. And I'm like, I didn't even know who this guy was. I don't think he's going to, no. I think he's in contention for the 4th spot. He needs to beat out Jake Funk. But I think Cam Akers Yeah, I think he can stay healthy. I don't think he's going to have a crazy number of yards or anything like that. If you guys checked out my video today, I did a projection video rather, of his statistical output, and I have him, just under 800 yards rushing. So, well, hey, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate that. I noticed you were looking at a projected 53-man roster the other night for the Rams. Is that something you have posted somewhere? Any surprises? Yes. So I had a projected 53-man roster. I did that, and like someone was asking me to do another 53-man roster, but here's the problem. I haven't really changed my thoughts on the 53. I think it's kind of the way I have it right now. I have Stafford, Wolford, Perkins at quarterback. I have them keeping 4 running backs: Akers, Hendo, Kyron, and Funk. I have them keeping 6 wide receivers: Cup, A-Rob, Van, Tutu, Powell, and Sko. Notice I don't have OBJ, because even if OBJ, comes back like I think he will not be on the 53. He would be on IR. So that's something to keep in mind. I have 4 tight ends: Higbee, Blanton, Bryson, and Harris. I have offensive line. I have 9: Noteboom, Edwards, Allen, Bruss, Havenstein. I have Jackson, Arcuri, Shelton, and Jack Snyder to round that out. Defensive line, I have 5. I have Donald, Ashawn, Gaines, Brown, and Copeland. Outside linebacker, I have 5, and Leonard Floyd, Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, Chris Garrett, and Daniel Hardy. Inside linebacker, I have 4 in Wagner, Jones, Howard, and Hummel. Cornerback, I have 5 in Ramsey, Hill, Durant, Rochelle, and Long. Safety, I have 5 with Scott, Fuller, Burgess, Rapp, and Quentin Lake. And then special teams, I have 3, obviously. Kicker, Matt Gay, punter, Riley Dixon, and the long snapper, Matt Orzek. I have them cutting Xavier Jones, Raymond Calais. I had them cutting J.J. Koski, Lance McCutcheon, Landon Akers, and Warren Jackson. Kyle Markway, Jamal Pettigrew, Roger Carter, Bobby Evans, Chandler Brewer, Jeremiah Colon, Adrian Ely, Max Percher, and then I had Michael Hoyt, Jonah Williams, Dion Noville, Elijah Garcia, Keir Thomas, Ernest Brown, Anthony Hines, Andre Hughes Murray, Benton Whitley, Christian Roseboom, Darion Kendrick, Tyler Hall, Grant Haley, Caesar Dancy Williams, Deron Lowe, TJ Carter, Russ Yeast, Jake Gervais, Daniel Isom, and Jaron McVay, as well as Cameron Dicker. But then I have the 15-player practice squad set up. I have Xavier Jones making the practice squad, Lance McCutcheon, Landon Akers, Jamal Pettigrew, Roger Carter, Chandler Brewer, Max Percher, Michael Hoyt, Jonah Williams, Ernest Brown, Darion Kendrick, Grant Haley, Tyler Hall, Russ Yeast, and Daniel Isom. So that is what I have there for the practice squad. Jello Ball, I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't know if he is in the NBA or not. I don't think so. I think he's probably in the G League or he's playing overseas. I think he's going to be your third guy. He's going to get some good rotational snaps. He'll take over the Obinna Okoronkwo role, essentially. So, yeah. What's up, Dingus? How we doing? Appreciate that, Jazz. What's up, Ricky? Man, I'm not sure. I know it's coming up. I'm not sure. I think it's the end of minicamp, right? We finished up minicamp. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What position do you think is the most difficult to make on an NFL roster, or is it more about how deep certain positions are? I would probably say the most difficult position has got to be quarterback, because you're only going to keep a maximum of 3. Most teams only keep 2. So that's the most difficult position to make an NFL roster. As far as deep, I mean, wide receiver can be really difficult because of how deep those positions are. You can keep 6 or 7, but that means teams are bringing in 12, sometimes up to 14 guys on a roster, depending on how confident they feel in their wide receiver group. So, that's always something to keep in mind. Haven't you heard anything about that with Garrett? Haven't heard anything about him. Yeah, I think Chris Garrett is, again, somebody that I expect to take a significant step forward and take over the Okoronkwo role. So that's my thoughts there. But yeah, again, good questions, guys. Ashton, what is up? How we doing? So it looks like the Spurs picked Branham. I'm wondering where my guy Christian Brown from Kansas is going to go. Abaji already went to the Cavaliers. That Kemba Walker Pistons Knicks thing was a debacle, in my opinion. Seems like McVay and staff prefer to give opportunities to players who have been there longer and put in time versus rookies, even if they are more talented. I think that's how it should be. It's fair. What happened to Tremaine Ankrum? Nothing. He's still on the roster. They still like him. It's a good question, Ashton. The USFL, I had issues with it. First off, I heard from people that the football was terrible, okay? Like, the football was just bad because it had a chip in it. So, and I heard that from multiple people, not just 1 or 2 people. So that's the first issue, is to make your ball that you're using in your league not the same as the NFL. I just don't think it's doing it justice. The next thing I'll say about that is there is no minor league when it comes to the NFL. So I think it did it no justice to have these quarterbacks running these college concepts, very college concepts, RPOs, and not running actual NFL offenses. I think it really hurt the product. I think it hurt the quarterbacks' tape when they go and they try to go get a job in the NFL, and they go and watch it and they're like, all right, you're running stuff that you were probably running 4 years ago in college, so we're not really interested. So I don't feel like it did justice there. Let's not forget the pizza guy, right? 1-8. That's what my friend is on the Pittsburgh Maulers. Boogie Roberts, former Ram. So I don't want to trash them, but I'm talking more about the coach when I say this. The coach that decided, I think it's Tim Lewis, the coach that decided that he was going to get rid of Davion Smith because he wanted pizza instead of chicken salad. The guy that literally fired him because of that, they cut him because of that. They went 1-8. They struggled to run the ball all year long. They won 1 game. He is done. I don't think he ever coaches again. So that was a joke, okay? That's another thing. Another issue I had with the USFL was that I don't know how professional most of the coaches are. I feel like some are totally outdated. They don't understand how things work. Some of the concepts that they run are just stupid. I mean, I was critical of my Breakers. I'm watching the offense of the Breakers, and I'm like, what the hell are they running? They got Kyle Sloter. Keep this in mind. Kyle Sloter got to learn the really complicated John Gruden offense with the Raiders. Keep in mind, Kyle Sloter's 28 years old, he was in the NFL, and while he may not have ever gotten a chance to start, he learned all sorts of playbooks around the NFL and different NFL concepts and things along that nature. And so to watch him playing in this college high school offense was really kind of a bummer, in my opinion. I'm excited for him. Hopefully he can be back for the playoffs on Saturday against the Stallions. I think they're going to win, and here's why. Another reason I had an issue with the USFL, everything was in Birmingham. So Oh my God, the Stallions, they went 8-1. Yeah, they played every single game in Birmingham. Are you kidding me? That was so annoying. I really I don't like hating on like spring league teams because they're all just trying to make it. They're all just trying to get an opportunity. That was really frustrating me because I'm watching this team. I'm watching their social media team, and I don't blame their social media team. But oh my God, it was like over and over and over again. Like, oh, the Stallions win again. I'm like, yeah, because they're the only team that's generating a ton of audience because of the fact that it's in Birmingham. No one else was going to any of the other games. That was the biggest issue I had with the USFL. And when I found out that I couldn't go to a game, New Jersey Generals at MetLife the way I could, if I wanted to with the New York Guardians back in the XFL, I feel like that was a huge, huge red flag to me. I'm not saying the league's done. I'm not saying I didn't like the league. I'm saying I had some severe issues with it. And I do think that until they force these coaches or the coaches start to actually force themselves to start running NFL concepts, I don't think we're helping the quarterbacks. I would say we're hurting the quarterbacks. Because if that's the case, if that's what you're going to do, then how is that helping? For real, how is that helping? So now the guys that just learned this really easy offense and maybe had a good year, that tape means nothing because now they don't know NFL offenses. Or when you have a guy like Sloter who's already learned the John Gruden offense and now they're running just like lame stuff. So I'm hoping the XFL learns from these mistakes, doesn't have a crazy football that has a chip in it that causes it to fishtail when you throw it, doesn't have the stupid college and, RPO ridden offenses. I'm just hoping that at the end of the day, the XFL is going to allow people to actually go to the stadium, have multiple different locations, don't have a hub location. That was entirely stupid. Just watch the Stallions lost one game at home. The whole year they played 9 home games. Just watch, they're going to lose in the semifinals. The moment that they get out of Birmingham and have to play in Canton, Ohio. I'm telling you right now, you heard it here first. They are going to lose. And I do think if anybody wants to deny it, they can. But I can't stress enough, I really think Birmingham was helped out by that home field advantage. They're the only ones that had a home field advantage. So that is my thoughts on that. Great question, by the way. I really wanted to like the USFL more, and I'm not trying to trash it, but I just do feel like there were instances where they missed the mark. And I was really out of it aside from watching the Breakers. I went in thinking I was going to watch every game and it was going to be awesome. And I really just watched the Breakers. And when Kyle Sloter didn't play last week, I didn't even watch the Breakers. So that's the thing. I'm hoping they win it all. But yeah, I just had a bone to pick with just the level of like the offensive play calling. It just seemed really basic, and I don't think it's helping out these players that are trying to get their presence known. So those are my thoughts on the USFL. Again, not trying to completely shit on it, but I'm gonna be honest, and I appreciate the question, Ashton. It was a good question, something that's been on my mind actually. As a Panthers fan, it was painful. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I really like the AAF. They just didn't have funding, but I liked the AAF. I think that was probably my favorite, although I really got in the XFL. The St. Louis Battlehawks were a lot of fun to watch. I remember them running more offensive, like NFL offensive concepts instead of that really like collegey RPO nonsense that the Breakers ran every single week. It just was frustrating. Do you think Reggie Scott and the medical staff don't get enough credit? The Rams don't have a ton of injuries like other teams. I think they do get the credit now. I think that was the case initially, and now it's kind of been like fixed. Like people have kind of adjusted it accordingly, but yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think he does get the credit now, but I think at one point he didn't get the credit. Hey Jake, how do you think the Packers are going to be next year? Just wondering. I think they'll be really good. My only question is, will they win the division? He's gonna make they're gonna make the playoffs, but I'm not convinced that they are better than the Vikings. I think the Vikings don't have Rodgers, but Cousins is no slouch, and they have potentially a better roster, from top to bottom. So I'm not sleeping on the Vikings, I can tell you that. Arch Manning to the Rams. Yeah, I mean, that's way in the future, but we'll see. We're going to have to pray The Rock is going to put together not only entertaining but sustainable product. Yes, we will. I think he will. Would you trade Jalen Ramsey in 3 first for the first overall pick in 2025 to get Archie Manning? I say yes. I wouldn't. Because Jalen Ramsey is going to be what allows you to do things after Donald. Right now, he makes Donald's life easier and Donald makes his life easier. But once you don't have Donald anymore, you're going to have to change your approach. And you're not going to have the pass rush that you currently have. So because of that, you need to minimize how much time the quarterback has to throw. And by doing that, now you can make your pass rush essentially better. Jalen Ramsey is the best chance the Rams have to moving on without Aaron Donald. A world without Aaron Donald is not one you want to think about, but it makes it easier when you have a guy like Jalen Ramsey, if that makes more sense. Once you trade Ramsey, good luck finding another corner that good. You're just not going to. You can find really good corners. You can't find upper echelon, elite, legendary corners like Jalen Ramsey. They do not grow on trees, and the Rams only got him because the Jaguars were a mismanaged dumpster fire franchise and didn't treat him the right way. That's the only reason. That's the thing. If the Lions had success with Stafford, he's not a Ram. If Jalen Ramsey went to a better organization that treated him more with respect and didn't run him out of town and actually wanted to pay him, he's not a Ram. So while the Rams have done a really good job, they've also had to capitalize on other teams' shortcomings, and that is what has made them very good. Once you trade away Jalen Ramsey, though, good luck finding a guy like that. He's already one of the greatest corners to ever play the game. But I do understand the concept, and I love Arch Manning, but yeah, I would pass on that. Agreed, I would have gone to Bandit games just to support the product. There you go. Arch Manning secretly trying to go from hook 'em horns to horns up. I was so annoyed. I know there's probably Texas fans in here that I'm going to insult, but I was so annoyed he picked Texas. Why'd you pick Texas? Why? I mean, come on. You should have picked an SEC school. Should have picked Georgia. They just won the title. Should have picked Alabama. So annoying. It's just dumb. Anyway. XFL definitely put a chip in the ball and field goal post. Yeah, and you notice how when the ball was thrown, it would fishtail? I hated that. It just makes the players look worse. And if you're in a league that just is starting up, obviously I know the USFL was around with Donald Trump. I get it. I've literally been corrected so many times. I know it's a thing. I'm just going to say starting up because it hasn't been around in 20 years or whatever. Anyway, you're trying to start this league up. It's the same thing with the Senior Bowl. It's the same thing with college programs, football programs, basketball programs, etc. It's the same thing with anything. If you're trying to build something, you're trying to gain testimonials. You're trying to gain, positive influence and coverage, right? That's what you want because you want people to go there. That's why Kansas tonight wins because Ochai Agbaji just got drafted in the lottery and he was a 3-star recruit and Kansas turned him into a lottery pick. That goes into Kansas's reputation, right? Their folder, if you will. It's the same thing with Duke. Duke gets another number 1 overall pick. That goes in. It's easy to talk about. The next time they go to recruit a player, that is what they're going to say. Well, remember Bankero? Yeah, we turned him into the number 1 overall player in the country, and he ended up going number 1 overall in the NBA. We can do that for you. So, similar to, college basketball, it's the same thing with football. Same thing with football. Nick Saban can be like, well, Tua Tagovailoa, he ended up being the number 3 overall pick in the draft. And he was a backup. Or Oklahoma could say, well, Jalen Hurts, once out, casted off from Alabama, came here and became a star. That's the thing. So it's recruiting, right? So my point is that with the USFL, you want these players to do well because it basically expands your product. You don't want to set these players up for failure. So if you're using the incorrect size ball and you're putting a chip in it and you're making sure it's not the right weight and quarterbacks aren't playing up to their ability, you're doing yourself a disservice to grow. So that's the thing. So now you have Kyle Sloter and you have Jordan Ta'amu and you have guys like that who probably would have done way better. But instead, now they weren't able to do as well because the football and just the product on the field and, all of that. So how does that, at the end of the day, how does that make your product look? That's what you got to think about. So I hope they get it figured out. I really do. You could see why some of the offensive coordinators in the USFL aren't calling plays in the NFL. 100%. 100%. Like, this was like prehistoric shit. Like, what are they even calling? It was like high school stuff. There was no imaginary play calling whatsoever. Nothing was imaginative. Nothing was creative. Oh, the defense is really killing it today. Yeah. How would the defense not be killing it? They're running the most simple offense. No, because that is a complicated matter that is going to take time. If they sign him tomorrow, great, but I don't expect it to be for a while. What tight end has the most touchdowns this season? I mean, it's got to be Kelce, right? Kelce without Tyreek Hill. It's got to be Kelce. I'd say honorable mention is George Kittle, because George Kittle and Trey Lance have developed a really nice rapport with each other, so I could see that as well. That's funny. Who won the Rams with the big contract? Do you think they may trade down the road to salary dump or possibly acquire picks? I mean, they're kind of running out of time with Havenstein. I could probably see Higbee, right? I think Higbee is the next that they might dump for picks, but I don't know. I'm on the late USFL's Generals QB Luis Perez. He tossing the dimes. Yeah, I mean, I've seen really good play out of him. Again, with the league and how stupid it is at times, like, they have platoon quarterbacks. I don't get it, but... What do you think Khalil Mack looks like with Staley? I think he'll be good. But here's the problem. Khalil Mack can't stay healthy. That's not something that I just expect to change. So I can't just assume he's going to play every game. I think he'll make him a lot better. I think having that mentor is going to be massive for him. I really do. Isn't that the question? I'll answer this the same way I normally answer this, and I'll just say, if the Rams trade for Robert Quinn, it's because Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, and, Chris Garrett just didn't do enough this year. It's got to be clear that they need him. I don't think that they would make a trade just for the hell of it. Oh, they will? Yeah, I don't like Texas, though. I just don't. I can't wait to hear about how Texas is back and everything. They might actually be with him, to be fair, but... Yeah, maybe. I just don't see them trading Ramsey. That's a guy that I think that they would want to build around. He's part of the core four. Yep. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. It helps out the channel, and I really would appreciate that. Oh my God, the Yankees tied it up. Hicks hit a 3-run shot in the bottom of the 9th. Wow, I totally thought that game was over. Shows how much of a fan I am. I gave up on the Yankees the first time this year. I was like, yeah, I don't know if they're going to come back. Christian Brown went 21 overall to the Nuggets. So good for him. My guy Christian Brown goes in the top 22 of the draft. Yeah, I don't know most of these players, though. Like Beauchamp, I don't even know who that is. But Walker Kessler to Memphis, that is an interesting one. Defensive-minded center. Here for it. Oh, easily. Well, and I'm not even against chips. I'm against the idea that you can make a chip that would literally throw off the balance of the weight distribution on the ball. Like, how do you make a chip that big? I don't get that. Also, can I just be entirely honest with you? I don't understand to this day why G League players go in the NBA draft. I don't get it. Can someone explain that to me? I just don't understand the point of it. They're already playing for a team. They're playing underneath a branch of a team. Like, I mean, someone has to explain it to me because I don't understand it. What is so complicated about OBJ's deal? Great question. OBJ is coming off a torn ACL for the second time in his career. And so it happened at the end of the year, meaning that because it happened in February in the Super Bowl, that there's a chance that he doesn't even play at all this year if he has one minor setback. So while the Rams would love to bring him back, they love to pay him, there's a chance that they'd be paying a guy that never comes back. And they have to figure out if it's a 1 or 2 year deal. And they have to figure out how to get him into the cap with how much that they've spent on Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, and so forth. And so that's the thing, is that they have to figure out a way that works for them, but also works for OBJ. And OBJ is in no hurry to just sign because, he'll be screwing himself if he signs now and say, all of a sudden somebody goes down with an injury and, say like, I don't want it to happen, but say like Van or somebody like that, or on another team, and he signs for 7, but he could have gotten 12 somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean by that. So, agreed, the players need to have a confidence in the product and that it'll be a productive tool to either get them an NFL opportunity, whether they just missed out after the draft or a second shot at the league. Absolutely. Is there a chance A-Rod produces at a level we don't need OBJ? I think it's very likely he produces at a level that you don't need OBJ. OBJ, to me, the only reason the Rams want him back is because of how well he worked. Like, that's the thing. If this was Deshaun Jackson, and say Deshaun Jackson just had the same output as OBJ statistically, they probably wouldn't bring back Jackson. He's older, and on top of that, he's pretty much a one-trick pony. OBJ works so well within their system because he can do so many different things. And culture-wise, it makes sense to keep him around. That's the thing. Also, McVay has wanted him for years. They tried to get him the year they got Brandon Cooks. The Giants wanted Aaron Donald. The Rams said no. They hung up. They went out and they got Brandon Cooks. That's what happened. So, yeah, maybe. I mean, Leonard Floyd, if his play dropped off this year, absolutely I could see it. But they really do like Flo, and his ability against the run is something that they very much value. So, he is in this draft. Sharif O'Neal is in this draft. I'd like to see him on the Lakers. I don't know. That might be the guy that they're targeting in the second round, but we'll see. Yeah, right? Oh, you're welcome. You saw the boys episode? Yeah, don't spoil it. That's what I'll be doing as soon as I get off this live stream. But I wanted to keep the fire going. I still can't believe the Yankees tied this game up. 6-6, man. I hate the Astros too, so I think that's one thing we all kind of agree on because I know most of you are Dodgers fans. So you feel like you were cheated out of the World Series by the Astros, and LeMahieu walked Trevino to second. All right, come on, Yankees. Judge is at the plate. Oh, give me a walk off, Judge. Jake, why did you pick the Jets? So it's between the Jets and Colts. Two teams I think are on the cusp of really turning the corner. Two teams I think have a really good foundation. They have quarterbacks. They have GMs that I like. Joe Douglas, and of course, I love Chris Ballard. They have coaches that I respect. Obviously you have Robert Saleh, who I couldn't stand when he was on the Niners, but definitely respect him. I like Mike LaFleur. And then, I really do like Frank Reich over, with Indy. So that was that. On top of that, I think the Jets really just prevailed over the Colts because I'm in New York. I figured it made more sense. I get more, easier access to the Jets. The Jets are more likely to play at 1, whereas the Rams are more likely to play at 4. So I'll be able to focus on Jets games from 1 to 4 and then go right into Rams games, not worry about it. So that was really my main reason. Yeah, exactly. That's 100% it. I'd love them both. Would love them both. Yes. I This news kind of made me a little hyped. I'm not going to lie. Kevin Feige is going to be co-producing Madam Web, and he'll be co-producing the El Muerto film that I just didn't feel like needed to be made. But it's now all of a sudden interesting because Kevin Feige is producing it. Um, Kevin Feige will be producing from now on, if not all of them, most of the way it was described by Everything Always on YouTube, is the Spider-Man adjacent Sonyverse films. So anything that isn't necessarily Spider-Man but is like adjacent to Spider-Man and is in that like universe Sony's trying to build, Kevin Feige will now be co-producing. So that is very interesting. Um, Definitely a lot could come out of that. Should I get Taco Bell or Mickey D's for Hero Gasm? LOL. Oh man. I'm gonna say Mickey D's. I don't know if you'd want to see any of the Taco Bell, the meat or anything like that. I don't know if that's gonna be good for your stomach. The problem with El Muerto, and I understand there's people that kind of look at it and they're like, why do you have an issue with like, basically the Mexican, villain or whatever getting an opportunity, like a Mexican character being put on. I don't have an issue with the fact that he's Mexican. I have an issue with the fact that he was in 2 issues of Spider-Man and that was it. Judge, let's go. Yes. Haha. Awesome. Yankees walk off at the stadium against the Astros. Let's go. Love to see that. Oh man, love to see that so much. I'm sorry guys. That is awesome. I totally forgot what I was saying. That was awesome. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, anyway, my problem with El Muerto is that he was only in 2 issues of Spider-Man, so it wasn't actually like this big character or anything. So I don't get Tombstone. Um I don't get Tombstone. I don't get Hammerhead. I don't get Chameleon. I don't get Rhino. Like, I feel like there's all of these characters that I want in the Spider-Man universe. Same thing with Batman. And they're like focusing on the wrong characters, in my opinion. Like, I really don't care about Morbius in the slightest. Um, that's just kind of my thoughts. That's why. I don't hate the idea of, Mexican representation on screen, because I know some people were giving me that kind of, they were giving me that response on Twitter when I said what I said, but it's not that. It's just the fact that the guy isn't at all relevant. He was basically just in 2 issues of Spider-Man comics. So, that's my biggest issue. I feel like Sony just doesn't know what to focus on, and um the news about Craven is damning to me. I think it's very, very scary. They're going to take a guy who's got, like, basically a fur coat. Yes, fur coat made out of animal skin. And they're going to make him an animal lover in this upcoming one. I do not like this approach at all. It feels very PC to me, whatever you want to call it. Soft. I don't know. Like, it just, like, I don't like it at all. It's not, comic book accurate. That is the only one apparently Feige isn't co-producing. So it sounds like an absolute dumpster fire so far. And I'm hoping, I like Craven the character, but I just, dear God, I'm scared for that movie so much, to be honest with you. I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I hope they didn't just waste, his casting on just a stupid, origin story on Craven, but that's just me. You can probably hear that that's my dog. If OBJ is smart, he holds out until end of September or beginning of October to sign with a contender willing to pay him more money. I agree, 100%. Shout out to Angels fans. Was at the Big A last night. Otani gave up back-to-back hits to start the game. Consequently, shut down the Royals with 13 Ks. Yeah, he was huge. I actually, I bet on the Angels too, so. Did you see the new Thor film, and how much of the Guardians do you think we see in the movie? Do you think that movie is going to have too many supporting cast superheroes to take away from Thor? So that's the interesting thing. The new trailer, initially I felt like the Guardians were going to be at the beginning, and then they were going to fly away, and then we don't see them, right? But then the new trailer kind of did what, the final trailers want to always do, is kind of when you're starting to put together the pieces, it kind of unravels everything, and then you don't know what's going on. So my thought process essentially is that I initially thought the Guardians would be intro characters, so introduction to, okay, Thor went on that trip and everything, then he comes back and that's how it's going to be, right? But actually that team assemble, that little part that he's talking about in the new trailer, leads me to believe that they might have a significant role in this film. And while they're going to be in the picture early on in the movie and then go away, they might be in the finale at the end of the movie. We'll see. But there is a rumor that the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, whatever brings into that film, is going to be in the post-credit scene, or at least one of the post-credit scenes. The other post-credit scene rumor is actually a quick snippet of Doctor Doom. That has not been confirmed by anybody, but there is a rumor that it's going to be Doctor Doom, and it's going to be played by Cillian Murphy. So I guess we'll find out soon. Kevin Feige on his first day at Sony. Anyone who say Morbin time is fired. Yes, 100%. If the LA Rams want a power running game, Jake Funk should bulk up and be that power running back. There's no need. They don't need a power back. Cam Akers can run with power. Kyron Williams can run with power. I think the power running game is entirely overrated in my opinion. And Jake Funk is not that guy. So, yeah, I don't see that, but that's just me on that side. Thor trailer. Yeah, I figured that. It's crazy how they have Kenny Pickett as a better quarterback than Zach Wilson, even though Kenny Pickett hasn't even played a single snap. The Zach Wilson hate. What have I been telling you, folks? What have I been telling you? People want Zach Wilson to fail. It's because they're anti-babyface, bro. They hate baby faces. That's what it is. I swear to God. They look at Tom Brady and they're like, that's a man right there. That's a franchise quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, oh, you know, that jawline, man, that jawline. They look at Zach Wilson and like, that's a little kid. That guy's not going to lead a team. I swear to God, that is literally what is happening. They want him to fail. The media has constantly been trashing him. They haven't actually they haven't put context into anything. If you notice when people are trashing Zach Wilson, it's literally like stuff that you and I have already discussed and stuff that we've added context to, right? So like they'll be like, "Oh, he had a 55% completion percentage and he had a 69% passer rating." Yeah, and he was also the most pressured quarterback in the NFL, meaning, you know, his main left tackle coming into the year goes down week 1. Oh my God, now we have to figure things out. There was all sorts of shuffling on the offensive line. His best receiver was Corey Davis. Elijah Moore came on strong towards the end of the season, but he also dealt with some injuries. So there wasn't, you know, the continuity wasn't entirely where it's going to be this year. On top of that, you're throwing to guys like Jamison Crowder and Keelan Cole. Keelan Cole's not even on the team anymore. Crowder went to Buffalo. None of the tight ends are back. You know, they were basically relying on Michael Carter. Tevin Coleman still hasn't been what they wanted him to be when they signed him. Ty Johnson had his moments, but I mean, come on, guys. Come on. This is the best look that you could have given to a young quarterback like Zach Wilson, a guy that can work off script. So when you have that ability to work off script and make plays happen with your legs, and he did that last year with not a lot around him, this year, he's got Garrett Wilson, a guy that can work off script. And what I mean by that is once he runs his route, this guy's very intelligent. He's going to get in the right position. He is going to be able to make a play. He is going to improvise just as much as the quarterback. Same thing with Davis. Same thing with Elijah Moore. Same thing with Tyler Conklin. And CJ Uzama did it a ton because of Joe Burrow. So you have those guys. You have a potential top 10 offensive line. Zach Wilson is going to be good this year, folks. He's going to be good. The haters are going to see it. I'm telling you right now. You guys know I've been talking about it multiple times here, but it is absolutely ridiculous to say that Kenny Pickett, who has never played a game in the NFL, may not even start this year. And I do like Pickett, so let's not, bring that conclusion. But the idea that Kenny Pickett, who's never played an NFL game, is going to be ahead of Zach Wilson. The idea that Trevor Lawrence, we're going to look at, Trevor Lawrence and, we're going to only look at Zach Wilson's interceptions, but we're not going to look at Trevor Lawrence's 12 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. We're just going to focus on the 9 and 11 that Zach Wilson has. It's ridiculous. It's become a double standard. I'm honestly tired of sitting here and just acting like it's not. I noticed it before I started covering the Jets, but now it's very clearly under a microscope. I watch it all the time. I see it all the time. The people that trash Zach Wilson either didn't like him at BYU, don't like BYU, didn't watch him at BYU, complained about his face, or, and hear me out, this is probably the major one, they've never watched this kid throw a football, run with the ball, and go through progressions. Because this guy, if you give him an opportunity, he is going to succeed in this league. It's that simple. And I think the Jets gave him that opportunity. Joe Douglas did an incredible job getting people around him this year. They got a good defense on top of it that I think is going to generate some turnovers. They're going to get some extra possessions this year. They got Breece Hall, a running back that can take the workload on. You also have Michael Carter. You have Tevin Coleman. You have Ty Johnson. All of a sudden, it's become a really good running back room on top of a really good wide receiver room, on top of a really good tight end room, and a potential top 10 offense. There's no excuse for Zach Wilson now. But again, no one wants to talk about that. So, yes, those are my thoughts. I just wanted to throw that out there. You got the blood pumping. I saw that. I'm like, no, I gotta defend. I gotta defend ZW2, and that's what I did. So, those are my thoughts. I still haven't posted the clip from yesterday. My thoughts on Zach Wilson versus Trevor Lawrence. I will at some point. I might also clip that. Love the glasses, Jake. What's up, buddy? Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate it. Looks like the glasses are getting some love. It's definitely a different look, but I appreciate the love and support that I'm getting from my audience here. My Orlando Magic Jake got Paolo. I'm so happy. I'm a Duke fan, so I'm enjoying this. Yeah, congrats, man. I would have picked Jabari Smith, but the only one that didn't make any sense to me, the guy that I think is going to bust no matter what, is going to be Chet Holmgren. I don't understand the hype with him. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. But anyway, the the Heat got Nikola Jovic, not Jokic, but Jovic. So that's something. Interesting stuff there. I was worried about Madam Web movie, but with Kevin Feige involved, it made me hopeful because I do like this cast. Same here. Sydney Sweeney's also joining the cast with, I totally forgot her name. Yeah, I'm probably gonna just not remember her name. I love not remembering things I'm trying to remember. That's great. Dakota Johnson. There we go. Jay couldn't have said it better myself on El Muerto, but I will say I think Bad Bunny might actually surprise us, especially if he just dedicates the way he did for wrestling in WWE and with Feige on board. That's the thing. Feige's on board, and I'm not a big Bad Bunny fan, but what people don't understand is like when everyone's like, oh, he's a wrestler and he's becoming an actor, sellout. What do you think pro wrestling is? I laugh at that so much. When people are like, John Cena, he left WWE to go and act? What a sellout. What do you think John Cena's been doing? Pro wrestling is just more athletic acting. That's what it is. They're actors. Come on. Those guys go on the mic. They have scripts in their head. Or they improv. It's acting. Like, that's the thing. Like, with Bad Bunny having that experience with WWE, like, he's not going to be in any, like, unfound position. You know? Kyron Williams is too light at 209 pounds, is too light to be blocking and power running back. Well, I disagree with this because power is an overrated thing. Like, you don't have to be Steven Jackson to have power. You know what I mean? Like, power running, again, has always been an overrated thing to me. I mean, like, Marshawn Lynch is 215. Or was 215 at his playing size. You know what I mean? Like, he's considered a power back. 215. Marion Barber, 218. Rest in peace to Marion Barber. It's just like the whole power back thing. I don't know. It's like a deep threat, right? When everyone's like, "Oh, we need a deep threat. We don't have a deep threat." Van Jefferson's a deep threat. No, he's not. We need a deep threat. It's the same thing. Like, the Rams will be fine either way. They have guys that can run with power. Cam Akers can absolutely run with power. Kyron Williams does run with power too. Not a ton, but he can. What did you think about McVay interview talking about that jet sweep to Cup on fourth? My heart skipped a beat how we take things for granted. So I finally watched the interview between him and Mike Silver. I'm going to give Silver some credit. I thought it was a good interview. I'm not the biggest Silver fan, as you know, but I thought it was a good interview. He's pretty well connected. I did like that McVay gave him a little bit of a, like he was testing him a little bit. It was a good interview, It was cool. I think the best thing about the McVay interview was how he reaffirmed how he was asked, like, if he was a lifer. Like, he explained that. Like, before the Super Bowl, when people asked if they could see him being a lifer, and he said no. And then that instantly became, Sean McVay is going to retire. So him explaining that was actually pretty awesome. And I appreciated that because, that was really overblown from the get-go. And honestly, part of me kind of feels like after watching that interview, I could see him coaching until he's like 55. I think they'll have him for a while. I don't think he's in any hurry. Craven the Lover, Sony, man. Yep. Just imagining Adam Steele coming off the top rope, dropping the people's elbow to defend Kenny Pickett hype. Trevor Sunshine Lawrence. I felt Chet was going to be a Presty type pick. Yeah. Man, the Thunder are an example of why, yeah, you have a lot of picks, but if you don't know how to use said picks, it doesn't freaking matter. Like, the Chet Holmgren vibes I'm getting, he just has bust written all over him. Jabari Smith was not only the safest, but he was by far the best option, I thought. But Banchero was also pretty safe, and you know, I just don't know how you look at Banchero, you look at Jabari Smith, you look at Jalen Duren, and you're like, yeah, Chet Holmgren, the guy that literally is skinnier than half of the players in the draft. Probably more than half. Like, he can build into that. I don't know if he can. Those guys, they have a hard time putting weight on. FYI, there is a YouTube clip of Zach Wilson doing a two-handed dunk, and he was also a point guard in high school, and he could ball out in two sports. There you go. The athleticism. He had some crazy moments this past year. No one saw them because it was at the end of the year. The Jets were already eliminated from the playoffs, and like I said, no one actually has watched Zach Wilson that likes to trash him. But there were a couple huge moments where Zach Wilson broke like 4 tackles and, you know, he ran for a touchdown. And another one where he broke like a bunch of tackles and was able to throw the ball, I believe, to Keelan Cole for a touchdown. So he's had a couple huge moments showing you his escapability is real. Professor Jake, I think her name is Isabella Merced. Well, Madam Web is being played by Dakota Johnson, but I get what you're saying. John Cena loves China. Does he? I don't know. I read kind of into that, but I didn't really care at the end of the day. WWE been putting wrestlers in their own over-the-top action films for years. Exactly. To be fair, I dug 12 rounds. I was very much into 12 rounds. I thought it was pretty fun. The Randy Orton one, the one, maybe that was, I don't know. There was the Marine and there was 12 rounds. I saw Ted DiBiase. I thought he was really good. Randy Orton was good. John Cena was good. The Miz was good. I really like The Miz. Mike Mizanin, I think he does a great job. McVay had Silver sweating, LOL, made him fumble his words up a little bit. He did. He absolutely did. I'm concerned about our wide receiver room without a legit deep threat. Random Rams fan on Twitter. If you say that you're concerned about a receiver room that literally, I'm not kidding you, literally has Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, potentially going to have OBJ, Tutu Atwell, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Fans got to understand that a team that drafts high isn't good and takes a quarterback because they need one. Really hard for quarterbacks that are rookies to come in and turn a franchise around. Exactly. People just like to make fun of Zach Wilson. I mean, I had my jabs at him at the beginning of last year. Don't get me wrong. He had some bad decisions. But why are we not talking about what he did towards the end of last year? See, it's players like Cam Akers that get overrated, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but remember Cam Akers, down the stretch, Cam Akers was dominant. And so now, that's what Cam Akers is. People just assume he's going to be that. But look at what, Zach Wilson and guys like that were doing at the end of last year. Finally coming on strong. And no one cares. Zach Wilson was playing well against anybody. I mean, I'm going to go back, I believe, and I mean, I could totally be wrong on this. I'm trying to remember. Against I want to say the Buccaneers. That sounds about right. Yeah. In January. Zach Wilson went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady. And they lost 28-24 against Tampa. Tampa went to the divisional round of the playoffs, and the Jets went 4-12. Actually, that's not true. The Jets went 4-13. That's the thing I'm talking about. But you could see it down the stretch. Jets-Dolphins was a close game. They beat the Jaguars. They're close against the Bucs. The Bills game could have been a lot better, but you know? Yeah. Yeah, I do. East Coast, baby. I love the East Coast, except for the weather, but I really love being here. I used to hate New York, and I was very close to leaving. For those of you who don't know, I almost moved to LA in 2019. Pandemic happened, didn't move to LA, and now I feel pretty good here. I like seeing Kansas players go off the board. I'd like to see the Lakers come away with one, but I do like seeing when my Kansas guys go off the board. It makes me feel good, you know, especially to places that I can actually root for them on. Like he's going to the Nuggets, Christian Brown, Abaji's going to the Cavs. I think the Cavs I can definitely root for. So no, he did not. I don't. Oh, I think it's because of Sony Michel. But if they wanted Sony Michel so bad, they would have brought him back. He wanted to come back, and the Dolphins brought him in for $1 million. Rams didn't want him back. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I heard Stone Cold is a really good actor, but I have never seen him in action. Yeah, I don't know. I know there's some UCLA fans in here that might want to know this information, but Peyton Watson from UCLA is headed to Denver. They just drafted him with the 30th overall pick. Patrick Baldwin went to the Warriors. That's true. That is true. Fun fact, the Yankees are 21 and 18 in games in which they've trailed at any point. They're the only team in the league with a winning record in games that they have trailed. The Yankees also won 52 of their first 70 games, which is just nuts. Which C-level superheroes would I want to see? Good question. C-level superheroes that I want to see. That's funny. Anyway, I mean, I'll just say the Defenders by default. I want to see all of them back. I don't know if you'd say they're C level or D level or what, but I want to see them back. I'd want to see Cloak and Dagger. I would want to see Black Cat, Silver Sable. Yeah, I think just like all of that for now. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting. Oh, Gambit at some point. Love Gambit, my favorite X-Men character. The offseason, Nolan, it's Rams fans' worst enemy. Do you think this year's Rams team is better than the Super Bowl win? There's a good chance, yes. I see what you did there. I mean, sadly, he's not in the MCU. Oh, man. I cannot wait to watch. I totally forgot what I was going to watch. The Boys. I mentioned it before in case you guys haven't caught on before. The Hero Gasm episode. Oh boy. It's funny. Oh man, I feel like we're getting to our natural end. I'd like to see Kingpin, but he was already in it. Yeah, I think we're getting to our natural end of our live stream. Jake, you should host a Jet podcast also. All Jet podcasters are scared of the dark and sleep with the lights on at night. They all are predicting a losing season, have little confidence in Zach. So I did decide that I was not going to do a Jets podcast or a Jet centric show. I think just I'm going to cover them on this channel and see where it takes me. But I can say, Sergeant Mike, and I appreciate your liking for my Jets related content. I will be on the Jets Lounge Monday, June 27th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I do believe that's over on Twitter Spaces, so you guys will have to check that out if you're interested in any Jets content. I have not seen Doom Patrol. MCU is very good at casting young actors. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Iman Vellani. I think she's just fantastic. As much as we hate Amber Heard, I'd still recommend giving Aquaman a watch. It's one of the few DC movies I actually enjoyed. I thought the visuals were nice, and the story was actually not trash, lol. Yeah, I don't know. Now that she's gone, I might give it a watch. Saw a rumor that the Thor movie was going to stick to the comic. Jane needed to stay as Thor due to a condition. Think she had cancer in the comics. It went away when she was Thor. That's what I heard as well. I don't know if they'll actually go that route, but it does sound like that is where they could go. I really have a dumb question. Salary cap, do all teams have enough money to spend towards the max on the cap? There are teams so below the cap, makes me wonder why they don't spend the max. So, good question, Rick. It's not dumb at all. It's not really dumb. You have teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars that like to basically hoard cap, and what it does is if you don't spend a certain amount of cap, if you don't spend any cap, you can actually bring X amount to the next season as like a transfer. I forget the actual term that they use in the vocabulary, but I almost remembered it. But yeah, you can actually bring carryover, cap carryover. You can carry over cap from 2022 to 2023 if you don't spend, the cap. So that's the thing. I love it. Well, hey, I'm gonna be on there, hoping to meet some new Jets fans and hopefully grow this the Jets the Jets side of this channel because I'm gonna continue posting Jets content. I know it's not doing extremely well on YouTube. It is the off season after all, so I do get it. But I'm gonna keep posting. We're gonna have Rams and Jets, and we're gonna have live streams as much as I possibly can. You heard it here first. Aquaman had a lot going on, I'll say that. Interesting. I might check it out. I mean, anyone's better than the DC casting. I just want to know why teams are more comfortable collecting early picks and taking chances on prospects instead of trading them for proven commodities. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Rusty, I missed yours. So Namor, I don't know too much about Namor, if I'm being entirely honest. I didn't read the Namor comics at all. I just know that he's supposed to be like a sea, like he's supposed to be the guy from Atlantis essentially, and it's supposed to be a sea driven thing, and they kind of changed his origin for the MCU. Like Namor, the Submariner is what they called him. He's an older character. Like he was created in the 30s, I believe. But I don't know too much about him to be honest with you. I do know that Namor actually came before Aquaman. So Namor was created before Aquaman. Aquaman was kind of the rip-off version of Namor. Aquaman became bigger, but yeah. I hope that kind of explained it. Um, I think the Lakers are on the clock now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find it, but I think the Lakers are on the clock. No, they're not. Okay, they pick in 3 picks. I'm gonna stay live until they pick. I want to see if I know this player that they're gonna pick. Because they're up at pick 35. Pick 32 just came in, so we'll stay live until that. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire was my fave MCU. That was fantastic. I loved that one. Absolutely loved that one. That one was the best of that trilogy, for sure. Yep, there we are. That's what I thought. I had a feeling Namor came before Aquaman. I love how we're all doing it at the same time. Man, this hero gasm is going to be crazy on the boys. People that don't know what I'm saying are probably like, whatever you're into, bro. Whatever you're into. I did talk about it yesterday, but oh, dude, it was so awesome. I've never seen Kenobi that like I've never seen him look that strong before. That was great. I don't know how realistic it was, to be fair, because I don't know how Kenobi went from 10 years, like I'm super rusty, to that, but I'm here for it. And I do think that was a very top Star Wars moment. You know, I don't think they'll do it, but I'd really like to see a live action um I'd like to see a live action Disney Plus series for Darth Maul. And I wouldn't want to see him as Darth Maul. I'd want to see him as just straight up Maul after he's killed supposedly and comes back. I think that would be fun. A live action Darth Maul makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. And I don't know, maybe they're working on it. I don't know. As far as the guys best available here, ESPN is saying Kennedy Chandler, the point guard for Tennessee, EJ Liddell for Ohio State, another G League guy for whatever reason. Again, I don't understand why G League guys. I'm curious as to who they're going to go after. I'll let you guys know, though, live. Any Laker fan on here, if you have anybody that you guys want, actually? Anybody? I'm looking. I don't know too many of these guys, if I'm being honest. Jalen Williams, I know from Arkansas, the center. Diop. Trevor Keels from Duke. Kennedy Chandler seems like a good pick. I could see them getting some size inside, going out and getting Jalen Williams, maybe even Kofi Coburn. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how I feel, though. Spider-Man 2002 was fantastic. The pain in Kenobi's face, the voice had me tearing up big time. I thought they did a nice job paying homage to that scene in Rebels when I think it was Rebels. It might actually no, you know what? It wasn't Rebels. It was in it was at the end of Clone Wars, I think, when Ahsoka like knocks off half of Vader's mask. Oh yeah, that was the best Uncle Ben. Oh, it was Rebels. Okay. I didn't watch them. I've watched like, you know, like YouTube videos on them, but I've never really watched them. I'm curious as to why the Lakers traded up into that to get that pick. I know they don't have a pick in this draft, so that's like, I guess they wanted to be a part of the draft, but I'm curious as to who they're targeting. I really want a season 2. I can't wait for the rumored Cal Kestis Disney Plus. I want to see it. I know there's people like Taika Waititi that wants to explore Star Wars in a different way, and there's so many other stories to tell and all that. But I don't know. The Skywalker saga has literally been enough for us for years. I mean, I'm really fine with just focusing on the Skywalker saga even longer and just doing all of those, filling in like Kenobi did, just like filling in the rest of the plot that we did never find out about. I mean, really, what it was is that I heard that there's a completely different cut, and Sam Raimi was forced to change a lot of things for Sony. Sony really pushed down his throat to have all those bad guys. It is still going on. I wish they did a series of Luke training Ben, then going into the Knights of Ren. That would have been cool. Jake, what do the Lakers do in the off season? What would you do, Jake? I mean, they'll probably try and get Kyrie Irving if I'm being honest, but I'd probably stand pat and just try to develop around with what I have. You went out and you got Darvin Ham. To me, I want to see what he can do as a coach. I don't feel like I need to go out and get a bunch of new guys. That's what I would do. I would probably stay with Russ. I would continue developing guys like Stanley Johnson and Wayne and Gabriel and Austin Reeves, and then with this pick, I would add I'd add a player that I feel like can contribute this year and develop this year. But it seems like Toronto's taking forever to pick. I just want to see the Lakers pick because I'm ready to watch the boys as much as probably most of you are. OKC has another pick. I get that. I really didn't mind it. I like what they did with Spider-Man the MCU, but I get what you're saying. He's more independent. I think that was the point of the trilogy though. They wanted to kind of, integrate him with the MCU, and then now that he's learned everything, have him move on and be independent in the second trilogy. And hopefully there's a third. I don't know if there will be. When they had announced the Game of Thrones showrunners were given an unnamed Star Wars project, I was really hoping they were going to tackle the Knights of the Old Republic, but I think they backed out. That sucks. Yeah, I'd like to see that done. Oh, did they finally make a pick? Toronto picks Christian Coloco. I don't know who that is. All right. I think Kennedy Chandler makes a lot of sense. Hmm. I'm trying to decide who I want. I'm I'm kind of leaning towards Chandler. I could definitely see them taking Sharif, but he's not in any mock drafts. So I feel like he's going UDFA. You know? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'd be for a Marvel game like Injustice. Can't wait for it. I will be playing it on this channel. Not a Let's Play, but I will probably be playing it at some point. That's exactly. All right, Jalen Williams to the Thunder. That was one of the guys I was targeting. So now it's Kenny Chandler, EJ Liddell, Trevor Keels, and Jaden Hardy is also available. Lakers fans, if any in here, who are you guys rocking with? Jaden Hardy. All right. I just dropped the poll. Curious to see what people say. We got a 50-50 on Jaden Hardy and EJ Liddell. Liddell went to Ohio State. Kennedy Chandler went to Tennessee. Jaden Hardy went to the G League. Apparently, he's from the G League. And Trevor Keels is from Duke. Kind of feel like Chandler might be the best option there. I have not seen it. Can't wait for the Knights of the Old Republic remake. I'm an Xbox guy, but I'll buy a PS5 just to play it day one since it's a PS5 timed exclusive. Probably my favorite game of all time. I don't know when that remake's going to be, but I never played the old one, so I'll definitely play the new one. All right. Who's it going to be? You hear me like clicking. I gotta. Who the hell is Max Christie? What? Let's see. I guess he was an underwhelming 19-year-old freshman who needs more seasoning at the college ranks. All right. I don't know. Kind of my vibe here. I think they should have taken Kennedy Chandler. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. The poll had Kennedy Chandler, I guess. So I would assume that's kind of why they're doing it. But if they're not, then I don't really know. But I definitely want to see that movie. That movie actually interests me. But just think right now, folks. The red carpet for Thor is happening right now, or was happening. No, I think it's happening right now, or it's premiering right now. Damn. Well, Liddell would have made sense, but I don't know. Max Christie, huh? The Lakers will have an interesting run. They're going to get a lot of UDFAs. They're going to be kind of the favorite for a lot of UDFAs to sign there. They can offer money, and I think they have a lot of open spots too. So we'll see. But hey, folks, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. A lot of fun tonight. Always a lot of fun. Really enjoy it. And I'll be back. We're going to try to do it tomorrow. We're going to go for a 5-peat here. 5-peat. Maybe even do some gaming. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to go watch Herogasm. The Boys. Episode 6, I think. Yeah. So if you're doing the same, enjoy. I'm sure some of you will tweet at me about it. It was literally banned in 4 countries. It is very explicit, apparently. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Later.